Monday. She skipped the Monday. Yeah, I had the Monday blues. But anyway, fear not. We're back, and we're live. And you are currently streaming live with us right here in the Nature South on Attenville TV. This is the Crackdown Show with myself, Kimera, Heeralal, as your host. And if you want to join us in conversation, please do interact with us with the number at the bottom right of the screen where you'll see the WhatsApp line, or you could use the bottom column where it says live chat. Now, today's topic of conversation, since it is the 4th of July, well, it's Independence Day. But as we always open up the show, we've got a nice program. For you today. We open up the show with Wackett Simpson, and we've got Cherry Smith taking us through a little, predictions about, Independence Day, things that relate to Independence Day, and things that relate to the US of A. So we're talking about the United States of America as well. So don't forget, we've also got live entertainment. We always keep you entertained, and we've got our fun facts to end off the show. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be a jam-packed show full of fun. And don't forget, also, Auntie Sheila's joining us today, all the way in Durban. Shout out to Auntie Sheila. All right, so stay where you are. We'll come back straight after this commercial break. Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, we are currently streaming live in the Nature South on Attenville TV. This is the Crackdown Show with myself, Kimera, Heeralal, as your host. And if you want to join us, well, you can do so in the bottom column where it says live chat. Or if you catch the show a little bit later, please do drop us a WhatsApp on 074-660-5829. Or you can just interact with us in any way that you can. You can even use the bottom column when we're not live. Here and there, I will respond. I will like your comments, so thanks for that. But let's open up the show with a good laugh, as it is a cold Tuesday morning in Johannesburg. Let's go to Wackett Simpson's Senseless Survey.
Good morning, you've reached Cape Town. This is Ryan speaking. How may I assist you?
Good morning, sir. I'm Agent 31962. I'm calling you from the Census Bureau. I just want to get a couple of questions for your country. It won't take very long, I promise you.
Certainly. I'll do my best.
So, when you first heard of Elon Musk, did you think it was some sort of cheap brand of cologne?
No, not that I remember, no.
Do you look forward to coming home every night to your Wi-Fi?
Yes, I do.
Do you think God ever looks down on you and thinks he should have made you a squirrel?
No. I think human is pretty good.
So, do you realize that glasses make you look smart, but you have to fail a test to get them?
If you put it like that, yes, I guess.
Would you agree that any dog can be a guide dog if you don't care where you're going?
Come on.
Really depends, but I would say no.
Is the worst time to have a heart attack during a game of charades?
No.
And what if you die and then you find out that there are ghost jobs too, like working at the ghost post office?
Well, that's quite something. Quite devastating, actually, hearing it like that.
Would you say that people in leopard print clothing are scarier than actual leopards?
Maybe in South Africa.
Do you know that cats alter your clothes while you're asleep to make you think you're getting fat?
Is that true? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. How do you feel that cigarettes are vegan?
Vegan? Okay, I suppose that could make sense. Yeah, there's no meat in there.
So in a job advert, when they say competitive salary, are they saying that that is one that will compete against your bills?
I guess.
Why do we trust banks with all our money, but they tie their pens to the table?
Probably trust issues.
Do people with one eye wink or blink?
Oh my goodness. It doesn't mean if you say a wink, it's the same. They're probably winking not on purpose.
If blood is thicker than water and syrup is thicker than blood, are pancakes more important than family?
No. But it depends whose pancakes.
Is a muffin top the best part of a muffin, but the worst part of you?
Oh, muffin tops are great. I think it's equal. I think so.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
It's very polite.
Yeah.
Whack it Simpson, everyone, my personal favorite radio presenter. Hope you guys enjoy that one. I see that his jokes and his comic has gone overseas. So for all of you online streamers overseas, I hope you guys enjoy that one. Hope you're having a blessed time wherever you might be. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. Stay tuned as when we come back. We'll join Taylor Smith on his top 5 unsettling Simpsons predictions that have come true in 2023. It is Independence Day in America. I'd like to wish everybody happy Independence Day. It's the 4th of July. And we'll come back straight after this commercial break.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Oh, because you're mine. Because you're mine.
Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, you are currently streaming live with us in the Nature South on Actonville TV. This is the Crack of Dawn show with myself, Kimera, Heeralal, as your host. If you want to join us, please do join us at the bottom column where it says live chat, and you can use our WhatsApp line, which is 074-660-5829. There's it right there at the bottom right of the screen. Alright, so we're going into Independence Day, which is today, 4th of July, and well, we're talking about. Well, let's talk about Independence Day and what it actually is, right? So Independence Day was a colloquially it's the 4th of July, and it's a federal holiday in the United States of America, USA, and it's commemorating the Declaration of Independence. So this was actually it was ratified by the Second Continental Congress on the July 4th, 1776, establishing the United States of America. Now it's same like our Diwali. They full of lights. It's like colors and festivals, basically put into one day, celebrating their independence. Now the founding father delegates of the Second Continental Congress declared that the 13 colonies were no longer subject and subordinate to the monarch of Britain, King George III, and were now united and free and independent states. So the Congress voted to approve Independence Day by passing the Lee Resolution on July 2nd and adopted the Declaration of the Independence Day 2 days later rather. And this was on the 4th of July. Okay, so Independence Day is commonly associated with fireworks. You get your parades, your barbecues, your carnivals, your fairs, your picnics. They also have concerts. So they also tend to celebrate by having basketball games, family reunions, political speeches, and ceremonies. Now, in addition to various other public and private events celebrating the history, the government, and its traditions of the United States, Independence Day is the national day of the United States. So whoever's in America right now watching the show, I'm sure you're on leave now because it must be a public holiday. But We've got Taylor Smith coming in today, trying to help us out as to what, well, he's all about sharing horrific tales with you or terrifying stories. So, yes, Taylor Smith coming up next. He's going to give you the top 5 unsettling Simpsons predictions that have come true in 2023. Let's start off with number 5 with Titan Submersible. Check him out.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my little creeps and freaks. The Simpsons has been called America's favorite family, and for good reason. The long-running animated sitcom has had us laughing for years. But there are some who believe there might be something more sinister hiding underneath the yellow veil in that town of Springfield. Take a listen to some of the strangest predictions The Simpsons just happen to keep getting right. I'm Taylor, your casual crypt keeper, and this is the top 5 unsettling Simpsons predictions that came true in 2023. Do the Simpsons writers have a crystal ball, or has the show just been on for 30 years and there's hundreds and hundreds of episodes and a lot of convenient coincidences? Let us know down below. Number 5, the Titan Submersible. No doubt you have recently heard of the Titan Sub and the tragedies surrounding it. I mean, it's pretty much the only story that's been in the news for the last 2 weeks, after it imploded in an attempt to carry passengers to the wreckage of the Titanic. Now, before we knew the exact extent of what had happened early in the story's development, many were very concerned about the vessel's oxygen supply, and for some, in classic Simpsons fashion, were convinced that the Simpsons might have eerily predicted the scenario with an unsettling accuracy. In the 2016 episode Simpson Tide, we follow Homer going on an expedition reuniting with what he thought was his long-lost father Mason, a millionaire explorer. The two of them go on an expedition underwater, searching for the treasure of a sunken ship in 2 little personal subs, similar to how 2 passengers on the fateful sub were a father and son, similar to the episode. Now, that's one thing. But what makes this kind of interesting is that this episode was produced by Mike Reiss, the long-running showrunner of The Simpsons, who also happened to be a passenger of the Titan Submersible in the past, not just once, but 3 times. So it's entirely possible that this episode was inspired by his own experiences. Mike Reiss, infinitely braver person than me, been on the sub 3 different times, and said that they almost always lost communication. Recently, he spoke out about his experiences. Obviously, everybody wants to talk to him as he has been on this one thing that's dominating the headlines, and on BBC Breakfast recently, he shared saying he was not very optimistic about the missing passengers having been found alive, saying they knew what they were getting themselves into. Rice was quoted as saying, "I got on the sub and at the back of my mind was, well, I may never get off this thing. That's always with you. If it's down at the bottom, I don't know how anyone is going to be able to access it, much less bring it back up." Now, in the episode of The Simpsons, obviously Homer is fine because he's a cartoon character, but tragically, the passengers on the sub were not recovered. A very, very grave reminder of how scary undersea travel can be.
Taylor Smith and I look a bit rough this morning. I think we were still recovering from our Friday nights, well, let's just say our Fridays productions. But yeah, anyway, getting back to it now. Looking at today's Independence Day and all that. Now, during the American Revolution, the legal separation of the 13 colonies from Great Britain in 1776 actually occurred on the 2nd of July. Now, remember, I did teach you, I did educate you now that it only was, well, should I say, documented the 4th of July because it had to go through with all legalities, and it was done 2 days later, so hence 4th of July. Now, when the Second Continental Congress actually voted to approve this a resolution of independence that had been proposed in June by Richard Henry, and he's also declaring the United States independence from the Great Britain's rule. Now, after voting for this independence, a statement explaining this decision, which had been prepared by the Committee of 5 with Thomas Jefferson as the principal author. Now, while Jefferson consulted extensively with the other 4 members of the Committee of 5, he largely wrote that the Declaration of Independence in isolation over 17 days between the 17th, let's just say 11th of June, 1776 and the 28th of June. Now, in 1776, from the second floor, he was renting a 3-story private home at 700 Market Street in Philadelphia. Now, this is known as the Declaration House and also within walking distance of the Independence Hall. Coming in at number 4, the Stonecutters.
Number 4, the Stonecutters. Coming up at our next point is going to be about the Stonecutters, the secret allegiance that runs Springfield. Now, season 6 has got to be one of the best seasons of The Simpsons out there. There are a ton of classic episodes. Got the Who Shot Mr. Burns plotline, but one of the more memorable episodes is Homer the Great, where a downtrodden Homer feels that he has no place in this world or higher meaning until he finds himself involved in a gentleman's club called the Stonecutters, a secret centuries-old order Homer finds himself at the center of when he is revealed to be the prophesized chosen one of the group. This obviously sounds incredibly similar to the very well-known Freemason organization. Stonecutter, Mason, Masons work with stones. Pretty easy to figure out what they're alluding to. Are the Simpsons writers trying to reveal something? As it turns out, the Stonecutters are far more than just a place for the guys to play dominoes and kick back. They're a clandestine lobby group pulling all the strings behind the scenes. The Stonecutters are behind everything. They rig the Oscars, they bury the electric car, they keep the Martians under wrap, and they find consistent work for 80s icon Steve Guttenberg. The Stonecutters are a good stand-in for any sort of conspiracy you believe. Freemasons, Illuminati, any New World Order can fit in nicely to this. The Stonecutters are a very obvious stand-in for various conspiracies like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, New World Order, and if you believe any of those conspiracies, and I bet you do if you watch these videos, allegedly they run the world behind the scenes. Always rumored and long thought that they're controlling everything from the shadows. Could the Simpsons writers be letting the public know about their sinister dealings? How these organizations work? Could Homer's secret society of monkeys from the end of the episode be pulling the strings? Maybe. Now, if I was a secret cabal that had made the world into my puppets, one of the first things I would do is discredit all the theories about my organization by putting them into episodes of a beloved animated comedy show, making it seem like you'd have to be an absolute kook to believe in it. But that's just what I would do if I was part of a very secret organization that was running the world. Not that I am, of course.
Alright, so the Congress actually debated and revised that wording of the Declaration, removing Jefferson's vigorous denunciation of King George III for importing the slave trade. Now finally approving it in 2 days, which I mentioned before, which is the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day again, ladies and gentlemen. And let's look at a day earlier. John Adams actually wrote to his wife, Abigail. Now check out this letter. Now it says, the 2nd day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. Now I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion and God Almighty. And it ought to be, well, solemnized by pomp and parade with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of the continent to the other, from this time forward, forevermore. What a beautiful letter, guys. Stay tuned as well. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back with number 3, but don't get away. We'll come back straight after this commercial break. Welcome back, guys. If you just joined us, you are currently streaming live with us in the Nature South on Actonville TV. This is the Crack It Down Show with myself, Kimera, Heeralal, as your host. And if you want to interact with us in studio today, please use the bottom column where it says live chat, or you could use our WhatsApp line, which you'll find throughout the show on the bottom right of your screen. Alright, so as we're talking about Independence Day, let's look at Adam's prediction. Now, Adam's prediction was off by 2 days, right, from the outset of Americans celebrating the independence on the 4th of July, right? Now, the date shown on the much publicized Declaration of Independence, rather, is on July 2nd. Now, the date the resolution of the independence was approved in the closed session of the Congress. Now, historians have long disputed whether members of Congress signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. Now, even though Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin all later wrote that they had signed it on the day. So most historians have concluded that the declaration was signed nearly a month after its adoption, and it's on the 2nd of August is actually the right day, guys, 1776. Now, it's not actually the 4th of July, but anyway, as it's commonly believed and it's documented already, and people are already celebrating this for many, many years, well, let's keep it the 4th of July. Coming up next at number 3, we got the Siegfried and Roy. Check it out.
Number 3, Siegfried and Roy. Now, some of our younger viewers might not have any idea who these guys are. Or maybe you're like me, and you know these guys more through parodies than you do as real icons, or you absorb all your pop culture through The Simpsons. In the season 5 episode Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling, an absolute favorite of mine, Mr. Burns dominates Springfield's wharf after the town legalizes gambling in a way to revitalize its economy. This is a top 5 for me. You got Homer making fun of Marge's gambling addiction, being named Gambler, Mr. Burns going Howard Hughes living alone, and Homer's hilariously bad Florida costume for Lisa. Oh, top tier episode. One of the better parts is Gunther and Ernst, the Siegfried and Roy parody. The pair of German performers who are a stand-in for Siegfried and Roy, the famous Las Vegas act featuring tigers. Now, in this episode, Gunther and Ernst joke that their tiger Anastasia loves her new life in show business compared to the wild of the jungle. We get a little flashback to Anastasia sleeping happily before she's apprehended by the duo. The scene then cuts back and Anastasia sicks herself on the duo, savagely tearing them apart. Very quick throwaway joke at the expense of 2 very, very minor Simpsons side characters, but in 2003, it would become kind of tragic when an extremely similar incident would happen to the duo. During a show, a tiger named Manticore attacked Roy critically, leaving him with a stroke and unable to ever perform again. No comment on whether or not the real duo ever saw the Simpsons episode. The writing team commented on the unfortunate coincidence, saying obviously they had no idea that that would ever happen, but they did state it was bound to happen eventually. As it stands, it's now a bit of a lip-biting moment that seems a little bit in poor taste in an otherwise absolutely hilarious episode.
Bet you're a big fan of The Simpsons, but yo, just looking at everything that they know and they predicted would actually happen does freak you out a bit. Alright, so by a remarkable coincidence, right, we spoke about how Independence Day came about. We spoke about the fact that it was not really the 4th of July. It's just that everything was, well, decided after the 4th of July or on the 4th of July, which made it legal and made it official. The right word is official. Okay, so by a remarkable coincidence, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, the only 2 signatories of the Declaration of Independence, later to serve the presidents of the United States. Now, both died on the same day, which was the 4th of July, 1826, which is quite shocking, and which was on the 50th anniversary of the Declaration. So, although not a signatory of the Declaration of Independence, James Monroe, right, another founder father who was elected president, who also died on July 4th, and that was in 1831. Now, making him the 3rd president who died on this anniversary of the independence. Now, the only US president to have actually been born on Independence Day was Calvin Coolidge, and he was actually born July 4th, 1872. Some good history there. Coming in at number 2, we've got economic crash. Check it out.
Number 2, an economic crash. Look, things are not doing too great economy-wise lately. I don't know where you live, but I bet it's not doing too great there. You tried to buy butter recently? Trip to the grocery store just ain't what it used to be. Maybe the Simpsons writing team knows more than they're letting on. In a recent-ish episode from the 24th season, Homer goes to prep school. Homer meets a new friend voiced by Tom Waits. Bizarrely enough, okay. The man overhears Homer talking about how he doesn't think society could survive a collapse, and the man agrees with him and warns Homer that soon there'll be an economic disaster and the supermarkets will collapse and the United States will fall too. Homer insists that America can't fall because it's a strong empire like Rome. The man then shows Homer an unspecified vague video with no dates or anything that warn him of a vague impending apocalypse. You've probably seen a lot of videos exactly like that on TikTok. Homer then joins their cult-like group of survivalist preppers, prepping for what they believe to be the inevitable apocalypse. Now, this is a very, very real phenomenon. Preppers are a recognized group. There was a whole reality show about them for a while, so that's all very real. Whether or not there's an incoming collapse, like immediately, well, who's to say? I'm not an economist, I'm just a YouTube host. So all I can say is that I've noticed butter and honey are a lot more expensive than they usually are, and those YouTube ad dollars ain't coming in the way they used to. In the end of the episode, Homer inadvertently triggers an event that causes a collapse in Springfield, but to his and the preppers' dismay, society bounces back like nothing happened. So maybe we don't need to be so worried. Society recovers. That's a beautiful message. As long as we have each other and a couple people remember some good jokes from The Simpsons, I think we'd survive an apocalypse. Although there was no electricity, I'm not really sure how we'd log into our Disney Plus accounts and stream the episodes. And I mean, if there was no electricity, you couldn't watch Top 5 Scary. So let's try to avoid any full-scale societal collapses for a bit then. I actually don't mind society so much. I don't think it's so bad.
Let's look a bit of on the observance side of the Independence Day, 4th of July, guys. All right. So now look at it in 1777, right? Now there's 13 gunshots which were actually fired in salute. Now once at morning and once again as the evening fell. Now 4th of July, July 4th, in Bristol, Rhode Island. This is I have an article in front of me that actually is in July 18th, 1777. Now this is the issue of the Virginia Gazette. And it's noted a celebration in Philadelphia in a manner and a modern American will actually find familiar. Now, an official dinner for the Continental Congress actually toasts 13 gun salutes and speeches and prayers as well, not forgetting the music and the parades, and troop reviews actually happen as well, and not forgetting their fireworks. Now ships in the port were actually decked with red, white and blue bunting, as you know, that's what their flag looks like. So now in 1778, from his headquarters at Rose Hall, near New Brunswick, where New Jersey, General George Washington actually marked July 4th with a double ration of rum for his soldiers and an artillery salute. So basically across the Atlantic Ocean, the ambassadors known as John Adams and Benjamin Franklin held a dinner for their fellow Americans in Paris, France. Coming in at number 1 with Taylor Smith, we've got the NSA and Tom Hanks.
At number 1, the NSA and Tom Hanks. Take your brain all the way back to the summer of 2007, would you kindly? What a simpler time. Linkin Park on the airwaves and The Simpsons movie in theaters. The Simpsons movie was a classic, basically just 2 hours of some of the best jokes the Simpsons writers ever had, taking the show we love to its biggest extremes. After Springfield's toxic waste problem becomes too much to bear on the rest of the country, President Schwarzenegger decides that the best solution is to place a big glass dome over the city of Springfield to contain the problem. The Simpsons escape and find themselves on the run all throughout the country, eventually finding themselves on a train. While they're on the train, funny enough, there's a little joke at Disney. Bart puts a bra on his head to look like Mickey Mouse and says he's the symbol of an evil corporate overlord. That's pretty funny because now, who owns The Simpsons again these days? Anyway, Marge is talking to Lisa about how they need to get to Seattle to tell everyone of the plot to destroy Springfield. And Lisa shushes her mom, warning her not to speak so loudly because people on the train could be listening. Marge reassures her that no one is listening until it's revealed that a dummy conductor, a robot conductor, has been listening and broadcasting everything to the NSA. Governments surveilling you at every moment has always been a popular conspiracy theory, but after the revelations of 2013, when it came out that the NSA was in fact doing this exact thing on the general American population, a funny joke now seems prophetic. There's another good prediction in the Simpsons movie that matches up pretty well with our world. Near the end of the film, Tom Hanks films a promotional video for the US government and says, "The US government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine." It's a pretty funny joke from America's dad. But then in 2022, this pretty much happened for actual real when the current administration ran an anniversary campaign ad featuring Tom Hanks narrating the events of the first year of the Biden administration. Everyone raced to Twitter to comment that, yep, once again, The Simpsons hit the nail on the head. The Simpsons did it first. And that's about all she wrote for this one, my little ghouls and goblins. Take it easy now, creep on creeping on, and I'll see you in the next one long as Matt Groening doesn't sue.
Creep it out, Taylor Smith. Peace. Thanks, honey. Alright. For those of you who just joined the show, you're a little late on that one, but you can watch the show back. You missed Taylor Smith giving you the top 5 unsettling Simpsons predictions that have come true in 2023. And we've got Talani coming in on YouTube. Mr. Nkosi, good morning. He says he's on his way to work in this morning and he's watching the show. Good morning to Kim and Atonville TV viewers. Well, good morning, honey. Thank you for watching the show. I hope you're not driving and watching the show. That's dangerous. Alright, so happy Independence Day for those of you who are American and are off today and watching the show. Morning. Well, it is morning in South Africa, but anyway. Getting back to our history of Independence Day now. In 1779, July 4th actually fell on a Sunday, guys. And the holiday was actually celebrated on Monday. Like, same thing in South Africa. When it's a holiday on a Sunday, sometimes you get the Monday off as well. I wonder why though, but anyway. Now in 1781, right? The Massachusetts General Court became the first state legislature to recognize July 4th as a state celebration. Now in 1783, Salem, North Carolina held a celebration with a challenging music program assembled by Johann Friedrich Peter and entitled The Psalm of Joy. Now, the town claims it to be the first public 4th of July event, and as it was carefully documented by Moravian Church, there are no government records of any earlier celebrations. Now, in 1870, the US Congress made Independence Day an unpaid holiday for federal employees. Now, in 1938, the Congress actually changed Independence Day to be a paid federal holiday. Hope you guys are getting paid today. If you are forced to stay at home, I hope you still get paid. Yeah. Alright, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to keep you well entertained with some good music, as we always do. I'm Kimera, Heeralal, your host. We'll come back straight after this commercial break.
Look at slide 4.
Becky, don't lose your cool. Think of the quarter pounder. It will taste like sunshine on a rainy day. Oh, so make it a day, the quarter pound away. Da 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 da.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you just joined us, you're all a little late, but it's fine as we go live every single weekday, every morning at 7 a.m. Alright, so coming up next now, everybody knows a song by Katy Perry. Everyone knows Raw. Today it's been covered and being performed by Andy Case all the way from the United States of America. Check out.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I sat quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger, the fighter, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than a lion. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear
performing for us live, Raw by Katy Perry. I think she did a brilliant job. Shout out to you, honey, as you are in the United States of America, and it's your Independence Day. Woohoo! Alright, so now looking at Independence Day, right, guys? Independence Day is actually a national holiday. It's not for us. So hence I'm at work today. Alright, and it's actually marked by the patriotic displays. Now if you actually look at it, or actually do some Google research if you want to, you'll actually notice that Independence Day is the federal holiday. So all non-essential federal institutions such as you get your postal services, and you get your federal courts as well, and they are actually closed on that day. So now while the legal holiday remains on the 4th of July, if the date happens to be on a Saturday or Sunday, then the federal government employees will actually will instead take the day off on the adjacent Friday or the Monday respectively. Yeah. So as we're keeping you well entertained, don't forget, guys, when you want to capture your talent, capture it with a brilliant, a decent smartphone, okay? Don't forget that if you want to ask us how to do this, or what's the procedure in order to get your music or your talent up on the show on the crack of dawn, you can drop us a WhatsApp on 074-660-5829. There's a number right there, or you can leave your number or contact details in the bottom column where it says live chat. Alright, so as we're keeping you well entertained and well keeping you warm, because I'm quite cold in studio this morning. Now everybody knows Michael Jackson's Earth song. Everybody knows that track. What a classic. Today it's been covered and being performed by Kieran and Nevi all the way in USA. Check them out.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fears? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, this weeping shore? To dream, I used to glance beyond the stars, and now I don't know where we are, although I know we've drifted far. What about yesterday? What about the seas? The heavens are falling down, I can't even breathe.
Their harmonies doing Michael Jackson's Earth song, Nevi and Kieran, well, all the way in the United States. Shout out to you guys. Beautiful performances, as I'm very proud of these two lovely young ladies. They perform traditional music as well as English music, and big ups to you ladies. Hope you guys are doing well in the US. Shout out to you guys. Since I know you're not watching the show, you guys are extremely busy with your careers, and I'd like to give you a big thank you. Alright, so let's take a little break. Don't go anywhere. We've got Antashina standing by just to keep you well entertained and give you some advice this morning. We'll come back straight after this commercial break.
The rich taste that says you've arrived. Uyingakar. Living a life of illusion. Leaving your finances on the rocks. In this world of Bazotina Bantu, do you want a bank that takes your money, or a bank that takes your money seriously?
Welcome back, guys. If you just joined us, you are currently streaming live with us right here in the Nation South on Attenville TV. The Crack of Dawn show with myself, Kimera, Heeralal, as your host. And if you want to join us in conversation, please do so in the bottom column where it says live chat, or you can use our WhatsApp line, which you'll find at the bottom right of the screen throughout the entire show. Alright, so today is Independence Day, as we've mentioned throughout the entire show. Happy Independence Day to all of you Americans out there. And let's talk about the families and what are they getting up to today. So we know everybody's off on leave, right? So families often actually celebrate this day by hosting or attending like a picnic or a barbecue. I call it a braai, right? But many take advantage of this day being off and all of that. And in some years, a long weekend to gather the relatives or friends. Well, we call it the decorations. An example, you get people like streamers, balloons, and clothing and stuff. They are actually generally colored red, white, and blue, and the colors of the American flag, basically. Now, parades are often held in the morning, okay? And before family get-togethers, while fireworks displays occur in the evening after dark, and such as places as parks, sporting venues, fairgrounds, public shorelines, or town squares. Now, if I were in America right now, I'd probably be having a blast as the parades happen in the morning and making a noise in the street. Yeah, that's the only time nobody's gonna get you locked up or actually call the cops and complain that, you know, there's noise pollution happening outside. I was so used to it, Greg. I was so used to people saying, now you make a noise, you need to go to bed early, you know, people are resting, you should make a noise. But this is the one day I'll probably fit in America and be like, hey, you can't tell me what to do. Hey, coming up next, as promised, to keep you smiling and laughing, we've got Auntie Sheila. She's talking, stop comparing your life to others.
See, on a side note, whilst I'm eating, I just want to tell you something. Please, people, focus on your own life. Focus on your own end goal. Stop worrying about other people, what they've achieved, where they're going, and then, you know, attack yourself for not achieving as much as they do. Comparison can get you in the pits of bloody depression. So please, focus on your own game. Focus on yourself. Just do the best that you can and don't worry about the others. You are not here to compare and compete with other people. Focus on your own game. Play your own game. Run your own race. And when you focus wholeheartedly on yourself, watch the success, darling. It's all about you.
Oh, thanks, Auntie Sheila. That was so cool. Thank you so much for a piece of advice, guys. Now, if you notice, Auntie Sheila's not doing so well. She's in a gown. Her makeup is sort of, yeah, because you know she's quite gorgeous in the morning. And yeah, so if she does send us content while she's in a gown, at least she's trying. Yeah, sometimes people's health is not okay. Anyway, it's come to that time of the show where we have to do our fun facts with you guys on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Okay, so let's look at one fun fact. Let's start with the shortest commercial flight in the world is in Scotland. For those of you who didn't know, the regional airline Longinair flies between the Westray and Papa Westray. Now, the journey is just 1.7 miles and takes 90 seconds. I did mention this on Friday, I think. Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Dolphins have names for one another, if you didn't know. Okay, so now according to National Geographic's, dolphins use a unique whistle to distinguish between different members in their pod. Here's another fun fact for you guys. The blob of toothpaste on a toothbrush has a name. It's called a nurdle. And there was once a lawsuit over which toothpaste company had the right to portray it. Now, here's another fun fact for you guys. One part of Istanbul is actually in Europe, and the other is in Asia. Now, part of the neighbors in Greece and Bulgaria, therefore, sitting in Europe, and the other part of neighbors Syria. Well, we talk about Iran and Iraq, right? So beyond Turkey's borders. Well, this was actually a lot of fun, knowledge, lots and lots of entertainment, and well, at least I give you a bit of education every morning, which I love. But hey, enough about our fun facts. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back straight after this commercial break.
The ultimate accessory, the latest shiny thing, mesmerized, trying to keep up, but never getting ahead. In an endless cycle of spending. In this world of constant upgrades, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
the Nature South on Gold TV. I'm your host Kimera Heeralal, and you're currently watching The Crack of Dawn Show. Alright, so we do apologize for the technical difficulties as we cut to black. We noticed that we had a bit of a bit of a step there. But anyway, getting back to our fun facts this morning. Did you know that a crocodile cannot stick its tongue out? But it sure as hell can eat you up. Alright, here's another one. It is physically impossible for pigs to actually look up into the sky. I wonder why though. Because I mean, it can fall on its belly and look, you know? Alright, okay. Did you know that if you sneeze too hard, you could actually fracture your rib? Ouch. Sounds a bit painful. Okay, another one. This one is quite interesting. Wearing headphones for just 1 hour could actually increase the bacteria in your ear by 700 times. Yuck. Oh, that makes me not want to wear my headphones anymore. Because guys, I just bought this new buds and I was like, this is fun, you know? And plus, when you want to listen to something and you don't want to disturb the people around you, you're just like, okay, got your buds in. And I got this habit, I got a very good habit of when I take my buds and I actually sterilize the entire bud with sanitizer, because I feel earbuds, earphones, anything that goes in your ear is actually one of the most dirtiest things to actually have. And working in studio my whole life, I've always like tried to avoid touching those things. And when I get to work, I wear gloves because I haven't been the person in front of the camera. So being the sound engineer, you're the one who's handling all of the microphones and the earpieces, and that's the most grossest thing in the studio. All right. Another fun fact for you this morning: some lipsticks actually contain fish scales. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are vegan and wear makeup, that's a good fun fact for you. All right. Here's another one that I know most of you cat lovers or people who have cats at home are gonna try or check. Did you know that cat urine glows under a black light? Did you know that? I know you're gonna try it, so yeah, that's gonna be fun for you. But if you did try it and you watched the show, let us know if it did glow in the black, under the black light, the fluorescent light. Thank you. All right, another one. Rubber bands actually last longer when you refrigerate them. Oh, I didn't even know. Yeah. Okay, there are 293 ways to make change for $1. Okay, I'm not even gonna Google that one. But anyway, it's apparently a fact. Okay, now the average person's left hand does 56% of the typing. Now, this is when using the proper position of the hands on the keyboard. Hunting and pecking doesn't even count. So, if you know how to type, well, I did computer typing in school, so I know. This is actually quite true. Now, here's one more fun fact for you guys. A shark is the only known fish that can blink with both eyes. Huh? I didn't even know that. But anyway, another one. The longest one-syllable words in the English language are scraunched. SCRAUNCHED. And the other word also is strength. Strength, meaning STRENGTHED. Now some suggest that squirrel could be included in that, but squirrel is intended to be pronounced as 2 syllables. Like, you know, squirrel, roll. Yeah, so anyway, according to most dictionaries, screeched and strength are 2 other long one-syllable words, but they only have 9 letters. Alright, let's talk about the word dreamt. Dreamt is the only English word that ends in the letters MT. Yeah. Unless you've been spelling other English words incorrectly, then yeah, that's something else. Okay, here's another one. Almonds are a member of a peach family. Okay. Another fun fact. Okay, there are only 4 words in the English language which ends in DOUS. Okay, and those words are tremendous, horrendous, stupendous, and hazardous. Yeah, there's only 4, so cool. Okay, here's another one. Since we talk about the US of A, Los Angeles' full name is actually El Pueblo de Nuestra Senora La Reina de Los Angeles de Porcucola. I hope I said that correctly, but those of you who are watching the show, that's the correct name for Los Angeles. For those of you who didn't know. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for this morning. Well, please do join us again tomorrow, same time, same place, from 7 a.m. in the morning all the way up until 8. We're going to keep you entertained, and since it's a crack it down, we get a little crack up in here. Don't forget, if you reside somewhere near Lenasia South and you've got spare time in the morning and you want to give back to the community, as this is a non-profit company, we don't get paid to do this, guys. What we generate the funds here for is to actually uplift this channel, to uplift the community, and, well, specific religious houses. So yeah, interact with us if you want to know a little bit more about it. You've got our WhatsApp line. There's it right there at the bottom right of your screen, or you could use the bottom column if you just want to speak freely, open, and interact with us. We might contact you privately, as it might be a long discussion or conversation. And I'm also looking for a co-host for the Crack It Down show. Yeah. Alright, I'm waiting for our production and for everybody in here to actually tell me, if you cannot be here, can they bring in a video call so we can actually share the screen and still have an epic and fun show. Well, from myself, Kimera, Heeralal, and the Attenville TV team, bye-bye for now.